I stood in front of the hotel door, feeling mixed emotions. This was my first class reunion in 10 years. 10 years ago, I was the laughingstock who was rejected many times because of my confession to goddess Emily. Now, I am the CEO of a listed company, with luxury cars, mansions, and a happy family. Today, I deliberately attended the class reunion in a low-key manner to hide my success, but I didn't expect something like this to happen. I walked to the door of the private room, and as I pushed it open, I was greeted by familiar laughter and noise. Around the dining table in the middle of the room sat many familiar and unfamiliar faces. My former classmates, who I hadn't seen for 10 years, are now scattered all over the world. When I entered the room, I felt a strange gaze, full of curiosity and speculation. "Hey, look who's here." A familiar voice sounded. It was Li Ming, the former squad leader. He stood up and waved at me. I smiled and nodded, then walked over to shake his hand. "Long time no see, how is everyone?" I asked, trying to remain calm. Not bad, not bad. Everyone is doing well. Come, find a seat and sit down." Li Ming greeted me warmly. I found a seat near the door and sat down. As soon as I sat down, I heard someone whispering behind me. "Who is he? He looks familiar. Have you forgotten? He is the Zhang fan who pursued Emily so miserably." "Oh, it's him. I heard that he failed in his business venture. I wonder how he's doing now. He chased Emily for 3 years but failed, and now he's failed in his business venture. He must be miserable." I heard it clearly and smiled bitterly. It seemed that everyone still remembered me from that humiliating time in college. "Hey, old classmate, how are you now?" Wang Peng, a former friend, sat next to me and asked. "It's okay, doing a small business." I answered briefly. "Oh, really? I heard that you started a business. How is it going?" Wang Peng continued to ask. "It's okay, I can barely make ends meet," I said lightly, unwilling to talk more. Someone at the party even wanted to introduce me to a job and a girlfriend. "Everyone is here." Emily's sweet voice broke the brief silence. She was still radiant, but her partners changed one after another. When she saw me, a hint of complex emotions flashed in her eyes, but she quickly returned to normal. Emily came towards me with her boyfriend and introduced, "Long time no see, Zhang fan, are you here alone?" I politely replied, "My wife will be late because of something." Everyone was shocked at this time. They didn't expect that I was already married. Some people even had a narrow-minded view that my wife must be very ugly and not as good as Emily. Now all the classmates are looking forward to the arrival of my wife. And Emily seemed a little disappointed. Maybe she didn't expect that I would get married earlier than her. After all these years, she hasn't changed and always likes to show off her life to others. "Zhang fan, this is my boyfriend, Mr. Li, he is now a senior executive in a multinational company," Emily said proudly. Mr. Li was probably in his early 40s, wearing a well-tailored suit, looking smart and capable. He smiled and extended his hand. "Hello, Zhang fan, I heard about you from Emily, nice to meet you." I politely shook his hand, feeling the strength and confidence in his palm. "Hello, Mr. Li, nice to meet you." Mr. Li took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to me. "This is my business card. If there is a chance, we can chat." I took the business card, which had his name and position printed on it. He was indeed an extraordinary person. "Thank you, Mr. Li. I will definitely consult you when I have the chance," I replied with a smile. At this time, all the girls in the class cast envious eyes on Emily. Everyone thought that she had found a rich boyfriend who was good to her. And Emily looked at me with a complex emotion in her eyes. She smiled slightly. "Zhang fan, I heard that you are starting a business now, how is it going?" "Not bad, doing a small business," I answered briefly, not wanting to talk more. At this time, the students next to her seemed to be watching a joke, and Emily did not seem to want to end the conversation. Zhang Fan, my boyfriend is very capable. If you need help, he will help you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. I'll consider it. I nodded to express my gratitude, but I felt a little emotional. I used to feel inferior in front of Emily, but now, although there is a successful executive standing next to her, I am no longer that inferior teenager. My classmates started talking animatedly, while I sat quietly by the side, recalling every little detail of my college days. Those bitter memories seemed to be right before my eyes. That summer, it was also the first day of college. When I stepped into the school gate, my heart was full of longing for the future. However, as soon as I walked into the classroom, I was attracted by a breath of spring breeze. It was Emily, the class beauty. She sat in the middle of the classroom, smiling like a flower, attracting everyone's attention. Her beauty amazed me, and her confidence made my heart beat. Emily not only has outstanding appearance, but also has a natural affinity. She is always willing to help others and treats people with a smile, and soon became the focus of the class. Whenever she walked into the classroom, the boys would unconsciously look up, and the girls would cast envious eyes. Emily and I were assigned to a group in a class discussion. This was the first time I met her up close. Her smile was like a spring breeze, which made me relax a little. We discussed the topic and talked about many other things. From then on, I knew that I fell deeply in love with her. The days of secret love are sweet and painful. Every day I imagine being with Emily, but the reality always makes me feel inferior. My family is poor, and Emily looks like a princess in every way. Despite this, I decided to muster up the courage to pursue her. I started to create various opportunities to get close to her. I helped her get books, accompanied her to review, and even sent her warm ginger tea when she caught a cold. During college, I saved money and used all the money I earned from my part-time job to buy gifts for Emily. She was very happy every time she received my gifts. I thought she still liked me. After all, she never explicitly refused me to give her something, but she didn't give me any clear response. I was full of hope, but I often felt at a loss. After a class party, I finally plucked up the courage to confess to her. She smiled and didn't respond directly, but her eyes made me feel a little uneasy. I didn't expect that this secret love would end in such a heartbreaking way. One day, I overheard a few classmates discussing Emily and a handsome rich second-generation guy. They said that Emily had been pursuing that rich second-generation guy, and I was just her backup. Hearing this, I felt heartbroken. I finally plucked up the courage to confront Emily. She didn't deny it, but just said calmly, "You are a good person, but we are not suitable." Her indifference broke my heart, but I also knew that I really could not compare with that rich second generation. Since then, I have become the laughingstock of the class. Some people laughed at me for wanting to eat swan meat, and some people said that I was poor and could not compare to the rich second generation. Although I was in pain, I did not give up. I decided to prove myself and no longer let others look down on me. The class was full of taunts. Whenever I walked into the classroom, I could always hear some harsh words. Some people said that I was wishful thinking, and some people said that I was asking for trouble. These words pierced my heart like a knife, but also made me more determined to change the status quo. I know that the only way to get out of this predicament is to work hard. I put all my time and energy into studying, even though it makes me look more lonely, but I don't care anymore. I believe that one day, I will prove everything with my own efforts. From then on, my life was only about studying. I gave up all recreational activities and spent every day in the library. Whenever I felt tired, the humiliation in my heart would motivate me to move forward again. I applied for graduate school and passed the exam successfully. This was a new beginning for me and the first step to prove myself. During the graduate stage, I worked harder and strived to make academic breakthroughs. My efforts were recognized by my tutor and laid a solid foundation for my future career. Graduate student life is fulfilling and intense. I run between the laboratory and the library every day, constantly studying and researching. I know that only through continuous efforts can I change my destiny. During this process, I met many like-minded friends and received careful guidance from my supervisor. My research results were gradually recognized and I published several high-level papers. This allowed me to show my talents in the academic world and laid the foundation for my future career. After graduating from graduate school, I went to work in a foreign trade company. Here, I met the person who changed my life, my wife. She is not only beautiful and intelligent, but also has a special temperament that attracts me. During the days when I was working in the foreign trade company, I met her, got to know her, and fell in love with her. She is the backbone of the company, beautiful and intelligent, and she is always at ease in every negotiation with customers. I am deeply fascinated by her confidence and calmness. We cooperated well at work, and gradually, our feelings warmed up unconsciously. We started dating and spent a lot of quality time together. I felt so lucky to have her kindness, thoughtfulness, and wisdom. We faced challenges together at work and shared joys together. Gradually, our relationship became stronger and stronger. After accumulating some experience, we decided to start a business together and open our own foreign trade company. This was a challenging decision, but we all believed that as long as we worked hard, we would succeed. In the early days of our business, we encountered many difficulties and setbacks. Sometimes customers suddenly canceled orders, and sometimes it was difficult to turn over funds, but we never gave up. During an important order negotiation, I made a wrong decision that caused the company to fall into trouble. During that time, I could hardly see any hope and suffered from sleepless nights. However, although we were not married at that time, she did not choose to leave me in my despair, but encouraged and supported me. She told me that no matter what happened, she would be with me. Face it together. Her determination and courage cheered me up, and we decided to start again. In the end, we overcame the difficulties and the company gradually got back on track. Although the process was difficult, we understood and relied on each other more in the difficult situation, and this experience became a solid foundation for our marriage. Later, the company started to make a profit and we gradually accumulated some wealth. We bought a luxury car, moved into a spacious villa, and our living conditions improved greatly. Despite the glamorous appearance, we never forgot the hardships in the early days of our business and never stopped working hard. While our business is developing steadily, we have also welcomed 2 lovely children. The arrival of the children has added infinite joy to our lives. Whenever I see their sweet smiles, I feel extremely happy and satisfied. After several years of hard work, our foreign trade company has finally achieved success. Orders are increasing in businesses all over the world. We have not only gained great satisfaction in material terms, but also gained real growth and enrichment in spirit. I always thought my wife came from an ordinary family. Until we were getting married, I found out that she was actually from a wealthy family. This surprise shocked me and made me cherish her even more. She never showed off her background and always shared the good and bad times with me, which made me feel extremely lucky. After knowing my wife's true identity, I was even more grateful for her dedication and companionship. Her family also accepted me. Although I once felt a little inferior, their sincerity and kindness gradually made me let go of my guard. And today, I am willing to attend this party just to let everyone know that I am no longer the person they see me as. Just as Emily was introducing her boyfriends to everyone, my wife came. Her appearance caused quite a stir. When the classmates saw her, they all showed surprise. Everyone was shocked when they saw her beauty. Her elegant temperament and confident smile moved everyone. "Wow, is this your wife?" Li Ming asked in disbelief. "Yes, she is my wife," I replied with a smile and took my wife's hand. When everyone found out that we were living a rich and happy life now, those who had laughed at me were extremely shocked. I saw deep regret on Emily's face. She missed me back then, but I found true happiness. Just as everyone came forward to greet my wife, Mr. Li's eyes fell on my wife. His eyes flashed a hint of surprise and confusion, and then he quickly adjusted his expression and came forward to greet her. "Hello, Mr. In." Mr. Li walked quickly to us, extended his hand again, with an even more enthusiastic smile on his face. I was slightly startled, then realized that he recognized my wife. My wife also smiled slightly, obviously not surprised. Hello, Mr. Lee, this is my husband Zhang Fan, also the CEO of my company. Mr. Lee was obviously stunned, with a hint of shock and respect in his eyes. Mr. Zhang, I am so disrespectful. I didn't expect you to be the CEO of Fulai Group. It's an honor to meet you here. At this time, Emily was a little disappointed. He didn't expect my wife to be so beautiful, and even his executive boyfriend called her Ms. Zhang. Mr. Lee then introduced my wife to Emily. This is Ms. An, a well-known strong woman. Their company has been successfully listed and is very famous in the industry. I didn't expect it to be your classmate's company. And Ms. An is the daughter of the An family, the most famous enterprise in our city. Mr. Lee was obviously a little excited. He quickly took out another business card from his pocket and handed it to me with both hands. Mr. Zhang, how about we add each other's contact information? If there is a chance, I really hope to have the honor of working with you. Okay, Mr. Lee. I nodded and smiled. Then, I didn't add his contact information. At this time, Emily was obviously extremely shocked by this scene, and her eyes looked back and forth between me and Ran. She seemed a little uncomfortable, but still managed to smile. Zhang Fan, I didn't expect you to marry Miss An. It's really unexpected. Yes, things are unpredictable, and we already have 2 children, I said calmly. Emily's eyes became complicated. She forced herself to maintain a smile, but it was obvious that she felt lost and regretful in her heart. For me, the excitement I once had has now turned into a faint memory, replaced by satisfaction and gratitude for the current situation. Emily's face, but she quickly concealed it and forced a smile. She knew that I was no longer the poor and unknown student, but a successful person with a successful career and a happy family. After returning home, my wife Anran and I put the children to bed and sat in the living room to enjoy a moment of peace. Anran handed me a cup of hot tea and asked softly, "Are you okay?" "Not bad," I responded with a smile, feeling warm in my heart. At this moment, my phone vibrated. I picked it up and saw that it was a friend request from Emily. I hesitated for a moment, but chose to ignore it. The next day, I went to the company to handle business as usual. After a busy day, it was already evening when I got home. As soon as I sat down, my phone rang again. This time it was a message. "Zhang Fan, do you have time to chat?" Emily. Looking at the message, I felt a little surprised and puzzled. After a few minutes, I decided to reply, "What's the matter?" Soon, Emily sent another message. "I heard that your current company is very successful. I would like to ask you some business questions." I frowned and replied, "I'm busy lately, so it's not convenient. Sorry." A few days later, when I was busy at the company, my secretary suddenly told me that a lady who called herself Emily was waiting for me outside. I was a little surprised because I had rejected her many times, but she still came to me. But I still asked my secretary to bring her in. Emily walked into the office with a hint of nervousness and anticipation on her face. She looked at me with a slightly reserved smile. "Zhang Fan, I thought you should be very busy, so I came directly to the company to find you. Your company is doing very well, I like it very much." "Thank you," I responded calmly, motioning for her to sit down. "I really admire you." Her eyes flashed with complex emotions. "Thank you." I responded simply, not wanting to talk more. Emily was a little embarrassed, but continued, "I'm actually considering some investment projects recently, and I hope to get your advice." "I'm very busy and may not be able to help you," I said in a cold tone. She was stunned for a moment, obviously not expecting me to be so direct. "Zhang Fan, we are old classmates after all, please help me." I was silent for a while, looked into her eyes, and said softly, "Emily, I've been busy lately and don't have time to think about extra things. I hope you can understand that I don't want to interfere in your life anymore." Her expression became complicated, and she seemed a little disappointed. "I understand. Can we have dinner together?" She lowered her head and said softly. I rejected her. Why? When I pursued her, she ignored my intentions. When I failed in my business, she even laughed at me. Now that she knows that I have succeeded and become rich, she wants to get close to me again. I said coldly, no need. I have to go home to have dinner with my wife and children in the evening. After I refused many times, Emily left my company angrily. After sending Emily away, I felt a little heavy-hearted. When I got home, Anrin noticed my mood change and asked with concern, "What's wrong?" I told her what happened, and she smiled and held my hand. "You did the right thing, let the past be the past. There will always be ups and downs in life, but as long as you persevere, you will surely usher in your own glory." And Ran held my hand and whispered, "No matter what happens, we will always be together." I smiled and responded, "Yes, no matter how many challenges lie ahead, we will face them together and embrace a better future together." In the darkness of the night, our family of 4 walked on the bustling city streets. The children's laughter echoed in the night sky, as if telling a happy story that belonged to us. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, see you all next time.